today is, the word that I come up with is visionary. This woman is a visionary. She is a philanthropist, an author. She's a teacher. She's a powerful force in the entertainment industry. One of the quotes that I remember hearing her say is, letting go and being there. Everyone, Loreen Arbus. Hello, Loreen.
Hi there. Thank you for having me, David.
Oh my God, this is such a joy. And you look stunning.
Thank you. You're so good at what you do as a producer and editor and writer. I just think the world of you.
That means more than you know. That means more than I could start singing that song right now.
And an activist, I should say, above all. That's the thing that I like the best in most people, if they're activists.
Yeah. I think it comes about, for me, it's about the personal connection, the humanity, the one-on-one, and my favorite word, love. What's your favorite word?
Oh, I have it on a wall in New York. Can we come back to that?
Let's come back to that. I love it. I love it. So what made you the strong creative force that you are?
Well, I'm a vessel. I'm very fortunate, and I'm not trying to be condescending or falsely modest, but a great many amazing things come through me, and it's not because I'm so wonderful. I'm just so lucky to be gifted in many, many areas. And these gifts have been given to, I'm not religious, but these gifts have been given to me that are really extraordinarily special. And I'm so grateful. I treasure them, and I try to use them. I mean, I've been told that I don't use them enough, and I don't disagree with that. But I dance, I write, I choreograph. I am a businesswoman, producer, many other things, artist, musician, composer. This isn't because I'm so wonderful. This is because I'm so lucky that I was chosen, however so, to be this vessel.
Yeah. And you allow it. It seems like the doors are open and you allow it to come through you.
Well, I suppress it sometimes, and I'm very grateful. I've said several times, but
right.
I should allow it more. What was your original question? Did I even answer it?
Oh, the original question? You mean the first question I asked about what is your favorite word?
No, about the creative force.
Oh, the creative force.
Did I answer?
I think you did. I mean, what made you? I think what I got from that was the allowing of being a vessel. The vessel within you is your creative force.
Yeah.
Does that seem?
I think that many of us who've had some difficulty in our lives are more likely to identify with people and with issues that are simpatico to many people and concern to many people. And that's where I do have a strength.
You know, now that you're saying this and we're talking about the vessel, I look right behind you too and see that amazing painting. And to me, it sort of seems like a picture of you in a different realm. You know what I'm saying?
Fascinating. I'm going to study it later because I'm sure you're right.
Because I think
my favorite paintings.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And just to have that, it's like tunnel vision. I'm sure if I kept looking at it, I would find more and more and more. There's so much about it.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
But the focus that it goes to is the sky, the blue sky, but it has clouds and it has different kinds of clouds, and but it's like it's this focus. It's beautiful.
I think we have to be reminded fairly often that we're of this world, but we're not. And I love art and I collect quite a bit. And I'm drawn to subject matters that transport us to other worlds, and that those visits and our presence in other worlds. It's very intriguing. And I think that painting in particular, which I like so much about it, is that it's very mysterious and we can't take things for granted.
And now I see the clock right there. As you say, you can't take things for granted because there is a time limit.
Yes. And did you see the characters on each side?
I did. I can't see them too close, but I see that from where I'm seeing them, it's also amazing. Where it takes me, this is a study in art class, but I see these two people, but actually to me, they're two of the same person. That's how I interpret it as of this split second.
I like that a lot.
Wow. I'm gonna throw out a word. And what first comes to your mind when I throw out the word mother?
Many things that are not analogous to the wonderful relationship you have and your appreciation of your mother and that relationship. Mine was not a good relationship. It was great with my father, but not with my mother. She was extremely difficult, extremely off balance. She was bipolar and very mean, very physically violent at times and cruel. And she made my life a living hell. That being said, I have spent a great portion of my adult life paying homage to her, not in the words that I just used by any means, but in bringing to people's attention what she accomplished. Because despite the challenges in dealing with her and knowing her, she was a visionary in her own right. And she made a huge difference in this world. And for that, I think the world should know about what she did.
For those who don't know, what did she do?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She is the person she was responsible for so many different initiatives in this country. 15 years before the Americans for Disabilities Act was passed, 15 years before that, she worked hard on and formulated the contents of the Proposition 502, in which people with disability were addressed in so many ways that we had never seen before. For instance, the bathrooms in public places, she mandated that, or made it a mandate that there would be a stall big enough to accommodate a wheelchair.
She was the one.
She's the one. When you go to a public parking garage and it says for handicapped only, which word is a little bit antiquated, but she's the one who made sure there were spaces so somebody with disability could easily move from parking to wherever they were going. Public telephones were lowered so that somebody in a wheelchair could reach and make a call. I mean, the list is very long of what's in that proposition. And she was responsible for all the ideas, and something that almost no one knows, and I didn't know it till recently, when a friend of mine told me that she is the person who designed that wonderful logo of the wheelchair and the person sitting in it. She just drew it. She was very artistic. Everybody in my family is, but that was something. And it's been the logo for, I don't know, decades
Yeah.
now. You better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my dad had the sign for hanging from his window. My mom has the sticker on the back of her car.
Exactly.
So that's
It
amazing.
communicates a world, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of what she did. She created the idea of the telethon, and uh, and was instrumental in the first telethon, which was national, the
Yeah.
United Cerebral Palsy Telethon.
Yeah.
She started the United Cerebral Palsy. It was her idea.
Mhm.
Um, and my father said it's going to take some money to launch uh, this charity. And she said, well, how much do you think? And he said, $100,000. Let's start with that. And she said, okay, I'll raise it. And she made it, she was obsessed with doing that.
Yeah.
And she accomplished that. And then my father had to step up and do what he could do, because she had raised the money that he threw the gauntlet down and challenged her.
Really?
And the reason was because my older sister was born with a lot of disabilities, cerebral palsy amongst them. And she said to my father, this is before I was born, she said, you know, we can afford to do many things most people cannot, and reach people that most people wouldn't be able to get through. Well, what do other people do if they don't have any money, if they don't have any contacts? How do they help their children with disability? We have to do something about it. Hence the Cerebral Palsy organization came about.
Wow. It's interesting. And I see, one of my next questions was why helping others from you? Where does that come from? And I can see it comes from your parents.
Yeah, my parents, very much so. There's another interesting thing that maybe somebody who reads or hears this
Yeah.
will inspire to do the same with their children.
Mhm.
This huge difference in my consciousness. I didn't get an allowance for a lot of years. When I did finally, I'm not saying everybody should be this extreme, but I wasn't allowed to spend it on after school treats or going to the movies or whatever. I had to give my allowance, half of it, to a cause. And I could choose my causes. That was the great part of it, but I couldn't keep it and I couldn't spend it on myself. That taught me a lot. And it became something that was really joyous to do, and to see the faces and receive the letters from people who were gifted by, you know, my allowance was really amazing.
I was thinking it's like that's where your allowance goes. And then I think, well, and then at the time, how do you treat yourself? And I could see, again, I go back to that beautiful painting, something that means a lot to you.
Yeah.
A beautiful piece of artwork.
Well, I wasn't allowed to eat candy, and I had a very strict upbringing. So I wouldn't have been able to spend the money on that without being found out anyway.
Mhm.
The way I got my candy was, there was a room in our house where the piano was located, and I was to practice the piano. So I practiced with one hand, and with the other hand, I was in the box of chocolate that I found in that room
Yeah.
with company. And I just
Have a favorite kind?
I thing over and over and over when my mother walked by.
Yeah.
Oh, she's practicing. That's good. I think she stopped long enough to realize I never varied what I played, just a basic scale. And I'm a horrible musician. I love music and I write music.
Yeah.
Just the worst musician. I have to ask somebody to play my music. I can't do it.
Oh, wow. Did you ever come out with an album of your music, or?
I'm on that right now.
I love that.
It's classical music.
Right.
And without being too self-serving, I hope, it's sort of in the category of Brahms and Chopin.
I have to introduce you, if you don't know him already, Rex Lewis Clack.
No, I don't.
He is he's a student at our school, but more than that, he's a savant. He is played all over the world, and he is. I'll send you some info and
Okay.
a video. He was on 60 Minutes, and he's amazing.
Oh, I'd love to read about that. And when I get this, it's not the album itself yet, but it's what I'm going to work on to refine, which will be the basis for the album. When I get the tape, and it'll be shortly, I'll send you a copy of that.
I love it. Oh, this sounds amazing. You mentioned your sister,
Yes.
and she seems like a powerful force in your journey. What what do you think? What do you think about society right now over the past couple of years? Do you feel like it's opening up? It's accepting more?
Yes, it's because we get to see people on television who have disabilities and um, and walk in different shoes as a result of seeing them. Um, I think there's a heightened consciousness to have fair representation across the board, whether it's race or gender and every. I mean, we're seeing a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Never enough. But it's very encouraging. We have a long way to go. I mean, I just read where I think it was 60 people who are trans were murdered just the last month.
Oh,
And someone in my life who I think the world of is trans, and I worry all the time about her.
yeah.
She was he, because they hatred, and then we see what's happening with Asian Americans. I mean, the prejudices are so great, and historically, people have had to have someone to be able to put down to bring themselves up. I mean, how else can you explain this vitriol and this acting out? It's for power, it's an expression perversely of a person's desire for power.
You know, I just saw, and I could never understand it. Sometimes I wonder if I'm even from this planet sometimes, because I'm, again, about love. And when you were saying how people need to put people down to lift themselves up, and I thought, why can't people just reach out and meet the person where they're at so you can both be lifted?
Well, it's something we should ask of everybody who participated in the horrific crimes of World War II, or that led up to World War II. And I mean, we can talk about economic disadvantages and the horrible effect it has on people,
Right.
but there's something deeper than that, I think.
Well, since we're on that subject, what is the definition of a bully for you? And how can we make these bullies change?
I think that is a great follow-up question, because it's exactly what I was describing as somebody who empowers themselves through disempowerment of someone else by calling them names and torturing them. And they think lifting themselves up, little do they know they're not. It's just a manifestation of that need to be superior and in charge. I think power is a critical factor in this world. When you look at arguments, at the base of them, at the root of them, is an issue of power and control.
Mm. I think I feel that I've learned, especially in the last 7, 8 years, after I call my heart healing. I call it a heart healing, but I had a heart attack like right before my 50th birthday.
You did?
I did, and
Wow.
knock wood, because supposedly it was like people go, your troponin level was what? You're still here? And I've always been I've always loved love. I've always loved, in fact, when I was a young boy, I did this little piece of artwork. In fact, I have it right here, I think, too. In summer school, I made it. Love is giving,
Ah,
This was
great.
from summer of 1977. And I just, and I just don't understand um, about that connection of the bullying. And I don't know what, I just lost it right there. I just lost where I was going.
Well, let me just jump in for a moment and
Yeah.
say that at the end of our conversation, if I can figure out how to do it, I want to take this camera and show you a painting that I have hanging here. So I have to walk with the camera.
Yeah.
The painting where the word love is written, painted. My dad did it, and I think it's really wonderful. And he felt the same way you do.
Mm,
And that he was such a good person.
yeah. It's interesting how you were talking about your dad, which got me back to that point about the which made me remember what I was saying too about power and people wanting power so deeply. And again, over the last 7 years, personally, I've learned that it's power is not what it seems. Power, the best kind of power is to be secure with yourself. Or if you're not secure with yourself, I feel go to a certain place to discover yourself. And by that, helping others. I always find by helping others.
That's key to it. Key.
And that's what you constantly do. And the thing is, you mentioned your father. What was about your father that was so magic for you?
Well, he was from a small town, very small town, and he knew everyone in the town. And his family had the country store,
Mhm.
and all the shopping they did was at that one store, dry goods and so on. And he never lost that humility in life.
Mm.
He was always humble and gracious to people, and just a really lovely human being.
I love that. Talking about your dad brings the thought of my dad back too, because I identify with father in that way because I also had a wonderful father. Um, you have done so much philanthropy. You've written for magazines. You've been a producer, a senior VP. What for you has been your greatest accomplishment?
Oh, it's going to sound a little Pollyanna. I could pluck my bio and pick something out of that.
Yeah.
But greatest accomplishment is when I help someone and make a difference in their life. It's just the world's best feeling. And that's what I love most, being able to do that. And having the resources, which I worked very hard to get. People think I just fell into it. It was thrown my way.
Yeah.
Not every dime I've made, I've given away, I've made until the last few years. And then I did have an inheritance, which came about very late. But I wanted to live in that way that I could spend money on other people. And so I worked very hard to be able to do that.
I wish more people would see it the way you see it. That smile from that other person, that feeling, that energy from that other person when it's that giving. To love is giving. And because once you do, you receive it back just even from that smile.
And David, that's so key to it all.
And in connection to that, what you do and the giving, the connection of nonprofits. Why nonprofits? What drew you to those?
Well, it's a very difficult decision sometimes. I've been asked to support various political causes, and Nancy Pelosi there's a fundraiser for her next week. I choose to focus my giving in the nonprofit world because I just don't want to see the money go to transient situations. It may not make sense. I mean, I think she's terrific, and many candidates, primarily Democrats, are ones that I would like to support, and I will verbally talk them up. But I just think it feels so important to me to support causes that may or may not be able to get sufficient support. Not that mine is that much, but every little bit counts. And I need to be able to answer simply when somebody says, would you give some money to this candidate? No, I focus only on giving in a nonprofit category. It's just what I do.
Yeah. Now, and you have a foundation, the Loreen Arbus Foundation. What does that stand for?
Basically, we support or give support to marginalized people. That's the common denominator. Anyone who's marginalized is of interest to us to support, give support to. If I say we support them, it sounds like we have a lot more to give than we do. We contribute support. So somebody who is African American or with a disability or without an educational opportunity. I mean, marginalized people are just a huge, huge issue. Native American, oh my goodness, what we've done, it's horrifying. I think it's so important to give in a political sphere, but my giving is in an emotional context. If I feel someone's pain or need or both,
yeah,
that's when I am most focused on my giving. And people who are marginalized are all over. I mean, religious marginalization.
right.
No matter if the person is of my own faith or another. We just be able to have the opportunity to practice our beliefs.
Now, when it comes to a project, whether it's the joy of giving or writing or being a dancer or a creator, how much control do you, Loreen, need in that project?
Well, I'm sure some people think I'm a very controlling person. I've been told. I am, but I'm not, because what I am more so is collaborative. I love being able to collaborate with a person or people, and we get so much more done. And it's not a matter of who said or did what, it's a matter of getting it done.
Yeah.
And collaboration gets us closer to getting things done any day.
Yeah. And I think too, it's that collaboration that can really spark and create such beauty that we didn't know that was there.
Yes, totally true.
Talking about beauty, about your dancing, about the tango, how did you get involved with that?
Well, I started out as a dancer. I was trained as a dancer, and I thought it would be a career, but my mother did not like the idea of my pursuing dance professionally. I always say that I had the piano lessons and the dancing and this for my trousseau, so I'd be more marriageable. I think that's really what it was about. But
what she wanted.
And what she wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. People would comment about her daughter dancing. It didn't affect me in the way he liked that a lot more. But I had unfortunate health crisis when I was in my early teens, and I couldn't dance anymore. And because I'm very, very competitive, my extension how high you can lift your leg went from way up here
Right.
to down there. And my ability to do many things just wasn't happening
Right.
at that point. And because I'm so competitive, and I'm not proud of this, the movies for television that we watch that are somebody chooses to make generally show a person how hard they work to bring themselves back from whatever it was that they did. I didn't do that. Just the opposite. I withdrew. I didn't want anybody to see what I'd become. So about 10 years after my stroke, I was in my 20s, and I saw a couple perform Argentine tango, and I heard the music, and I just went, I couldn't take it. It was so wonderful. It was so beautiful. It hurt so much in a beautiful way. So I decided to pursue that, and I did.
I love that. I
And
love,
I found my dance partner,
yeah.
who dance partner for many years. He died maybe 12 years ago or so from the worst of all cancers. Gosh, my mind today.
It's okay. You're probably getting it from me. I'm good with pancreatic.
Pancreatic cancer. Exactly. The worst. It's so fast and it's so painful and it's so basically incurable. And that was just a huge loss because we were two souls that were meant to be together in the dance. And I was so lucky that when I say I found him, actually I did. I saw him dance and I went over to him after and I said, would you consider partnering? A lot of,
Have you danced since?
yes, but now I'm not because of my own challenges that I've had.
You mentioned something about during the last couple of minutes, and it connected me to you enjoying and being the senior. Oh, what you bring out, what you mentioned TV and what we see on TV. And then I know that you became the senior VP of Viacom, and you also were the head of what channel is that? The Showtime and the Cable Health Network.
Yeah, the Cable Health Network became Lifetime. So that was my second big credit. My first one was head of programming for Showtime.
What is it about?
World of Cable was basically a stepchild in media. And when I'd go to a convention, television convention, somebody, everybody would say when you go around to the different booths, what company are you with? And I would say at that time, Showtime. People didn't know what it was at all. And if they did, they didn't want to have anything to do with me because they assumed I had no money to spend. It was just really the poor stepchild. And little did they know.
Right?
They welcomed me into their booths.
I tell you, it's interesting the power of perception that people have. I was talking to my therapist today about that, how myself, I put what I'm thinking into the other person's head. And then it's like, wait a minute, that's what I'm thinking, not what they're thinking. So
one of the biggest learning lessons for me is I'm a major animal lover, and dogs that 24/7, because I think that they're understanding things that they're not understanding, but they are understanding other things on a level that is astounding. So I credit them with a process of thinking that isn't what they have, isn't what they do. They're not analytical. They see a toy, they go get it, but it isn't with a strategy. And they remind me of, along the lines of what you were saying, that we project all the time. And my dogs remind me not to do that so much.
Well, you have a book about your dog, right?
I've been working on one.
I remember meeting your dog. Uh,
Now,
what?
there are two dogs and they're both very small. They're 3 pounds each.
Yeah.
Poopy doopy, teeny weeny. I was going to put them on a cat. And Poopy Doopy's the star. She does 20 tricks. Teeny Weenie's not that bright, but
Yeah.
she tries.
Yeah.
She's so. Oh, bring them.
Is that Poopy Doopy?
They're making Poopy Doopy's had a lot of stage and screen experience. This is Teeny Weenie. She's 5.
Oh, hello, Teeny Weenie.
And she weighs 3 pounds and she's a kisser. Teeny Weenie, what are you doing? Thank you. This is the star.
Oh,
8 years old.
is that Poopy? Oh, Poopy.
Oh, and she's also 3 pounds, and she's brilliant. Thank you for bringing them in.
Thank you. Oh, how gorgeous.
Being respectful today, being quiet. They never can be counted on not to be barking when they shouldn't be.
Oh, this all leads to something that it's one of my other favorite words, heart. Define heart connection. I vaguely remember you saying that somewhere before. So I thought,
I did. When you asked me at the very beginning and I went blank about what my favorite word is, I can't believe I couldn't think of it, but it is inclusiveness, inclusivity.
Yeah.
That to me is just the most precious word, to include everyone that you can who's interested, to open doors. And Teeny Weenie is having a seat on the dining room table here.
Is Teeny Weenie ready for dinner? Din?
Always ready for dinner. That's a good 3 hours off.
Okay. Hello.
Nose down. Teeny Weenie, come here. Poopy Doopy, come here.
Oh, how gorgeous. One of these days, I'm going to get a dog again.
What, you had one?
Years ago, when I was very small, we had Billy. He was a German Shepherd.
Oh, well, you need to have a dog. You just do.
Yeah. Oh, how gorgeous.
Here comes Poopy Doopy.
Hey, Poopy.
No, hey, Poopy Doopy.
Poopy Doopy. Poopy Doopy. Hello, my dear.
Can you give me a little something I can show one of her tricks at least? Oh, here's what people can do. Go on Vimeo.
Yeah.
At Vimeo, you look up the title here. Yeah, maybe I could show the card. It's a takeoff on Sex in the City. It's called, can you see it?
Yeah, up a little. Oh,
this is her business card.
Poopy Doopy Productions. Poopy Doopy in the City. See my movie, up a little. And then the website is www.
You don't have to look for a website. It's not on YouTube because you have to clear the music on YouTube, and I didn't clear the music. There's a lot of music in it. It's a comedy. It only is 15 minutes, and it's just, you go to Vimeo, and Poopy Doopy in the City is what you look for.
No, and it says Loreen Arbus, producer, director, writing. This is great. Okay, I'm right after this interview. That's what I'm gonna do.
It's her production company, Pooper Dooper Productions.
Poop Dooper. Oh my gosh, that's a joy. Oh my God. I've been taught. This is all connection to love. I mean, everything. I think that's why I've always, I don't think entranced is the right word, but always, I guess it's stepped down to the word, just been in awe of you because of the love that you give. And all of this whole interview is about all connecting to that for me. Is there one person in your life that was your source for you, the power of your love?
Oh my goodness, that's the easiest one of all for me to answer. My father was amazing. He was wonderful. I loved him a lot. But the real source of everything, healing, and that defined the deepest expression of love was in the person, Miss Karen Hansen, Hansen. Miss Hansen came into my family before I was born. My older sister was very, very young. And she came in and she took care of my older sister for all the years my older sister lived. And Miss Hansen had one wish, which was that Cookie, my sister, would go before Miss Hansen did. Because she said nobody could love her the way Miss Hansen did and take care of her the way Miss Hansen did. And it was totally true. And what happened was my sister died 6 months before Miss Hansen died, which was exactly what she wanted to do, was to pass after my sister. And my sister died. The death certificate said pneumonia.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the reason. It was from a broken heart because Miss Hansen, she knew, was ill. And all the love in her life and the support that she got came from Miss Hansen to the most extreme selfless degree. Miss Hansen just, I've never seen love like that. I don't think I ever will.
It's amazing how people, when they're really connected, that connection that can keep you alive, or
Yes.
just so many different ways.
Different stations.
How would you, I mean, we have over 100 students at Performing Arts Studio West, and then we have more from Meet the Biz, and then there's the whole world out there on YouTube land. How would you help to let people know, how can they realize their own possibilities?
Well, you have to listen to what people say, because a lot of times people see in you what you don't accept about yourself or see in yourself. The opposite can be true, gosh knows. But I think listening, when somebody says, you're so this or that, it can be very revealing, good and bad. I think something as simple, this is really obvious and kind of basic, but making a list. Sorry, she's distracting me.
Oh, that's okay. I wish I had a little doggy to be distracted by.
Oh, she's so sweet. Making a list with you where you put your strongest, best characteristics, and you confess on the other side of that ledger. And then make the determination to change the kind of New Year's resolution thing without it being New Year's.
Yeah. What do you want the most at this moment in your life?
I want my health back. I've been having a terrible time the last 2 years. Yeah. The condition has been diagnosed as, what is it called? Gosh. The effect is that it most impacts the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is where you have balance and what is my condition called? Can you remember, Emilson?
Not encephalitis?
Yes, encephalitis. Thank you. Thank you. It's part of it, but I have great difficulty with balance and I'm very weak a lot of the time. And I am very dizzy most of the time. And because it impacts a large part of the brain, it affects other things, my eyesight, my hearing, my coordination, so on and so forth. I'm searching for answers and people have been wonderful suggesting different things and people to see. And I'm on to a new lead right now, which I'm excited about. We won't go into it, but
right.
I think it's somebody who gives me great hope and just going to keep trying.
Well, that's what we have to do in life. We just keep going,
We
and
do.
we have to just go for it and get through it and go to the next part. And I'm so blessed that I met you through my dear friend Jerry Jewell, who adores you and sends her love today.
Thank you. I adore her and my love back.
And anything else? Any other thoughts?
Oh, I think you should try and interview Maysoon Zaid.
I did.
Oh, all right.
She was wonderful. I'd love to have her on again.
She's amazing.
Where did you both meet? You and Maysoon?
I've known her for some years. I'm trying to remember, how did I meet her? But I just adore her. She's a very important inspiration in my life.
Yeah.
And she has three things going against her. One, she has, I don't know what the order would be, but she's Muslim. That's not easy. And she has cerebral palsy. And she's female and very aspirational, but women don't have the same opportunities men do. We make them, but we work a lot harder to get them. And Maysoon is just a force.
She's a powerhouse.
Very likewise. She's terrific.
Yeah. Yeah. I never understood that, you know, and I still don't understand it. I always feel that women are the stronger sex. And
I think there's a lot to be said for that, and you're not the only person who does.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to what I brought up earlier, which is this, it's a prejudice and this need to put people down. Women are the scapegoat. I mean, there was Adam and there was Eve. Why is Eve the source of all evil? Where did that come from? I don't see it that way. I don't buy it.
Mm-mm. No. No. They're the women are who give birth. Women are, it's Mother Earth. You know, it's Mother Earth.
Yes.
So, you know, and soon it'll be Madam President. So.
Right. Not too soon, because I want Biden to live as many years as it's possible.
Yes.
Doesn't, then it will be a woman president.
Yeah.
But we don't want that to be the determinant.
Definitely.
He live and continue to do a very difficult and praiseworthy job.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What a joy to get to spend time with you. Thank you.
I know, this is like a little lunch.
This really dietetic time, dietetic lunch. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you so much.
Love painting.
Oh, we got to see the love painting.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Oh, I pressed.
I'm still here.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, I love.
Emilsa, can you help me to show David this painting here? How do I do that?
Wait. This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see?
Oh my God, the love.
It's a mother and son in the park.
Wait, with love right there.
And with love there.
Wow, get a little bit closer, just a little. Oh, that is gorgeous. Oh, you know, it makes me tear up. Well up inside. That is just amazing.